He led the way into the yard at the back. "Now, sir," he said in a voice that shook, "will you come as quietly as you can? I want you to hear, and I don't want you to be heard. And, sir, if by any chance the master asks you in, don't go." At these last words, Mr. Utterson's nerves gave a big jump, but he took courage and followed Poole to the foot of the stair that led up to the laboratory building. Here Poole signed to him to stand on one side and listen. He then climbed the steps and knocked on the door. "Mr. Utterson, sir, asking to see you," he called, and as he did so, signed to the lawyer to listen very carefully.
"Tell him I cannot see anyone," answered a voice from within.
Mr. Utterson started. The voice was not Jekyll's, he was sure, and yet it was a voice that he had heard before. Whose? "Thank you, sir," replied Poole, and he led the lawyer back across the yard and into the kitchen. There he turned and stared straight into the lawyer's eyes. "Well, sir," he said, "was that my master's voice?" Mr. Utterson was pale and thoughtful. "If it was," he said, "it has changed a great deal." "Sir," said Poole, "I've been 20 years in this man's house, and I know it was not his voice. No, sir, my master's been murdered. He was murdered 8 days ago, when we heard him cry out upon the name of God. But who's in there instead of him, and why does he stay there, Mr. Utterson?" A terrible suspicion had entered the lawyer's mind. He thought he knew to whom that voice belonged, but he still could not believe that what Poole said was true. "Supposing Dr. Jekyll had been murdered," he said, "why should the murderer stay here? It isn't sensible, Poole."